Great. Yeah, so thank you again, for coming us. And this is just our, dialogue and exchanging our philosophy and perspectives and also any ideas, things. And I just like to start, about like a philosophy things. So we have, read out all the materials regarding the, philosophies of the Baillie Gifford for the investment, and their curiosity or some long-term things and powerful questions we're catching. But I appreciate if you can share briefly some, fundamental philosophy which Baillie Gifford has for the investment. Can you start with that?
Yeah, of course. So, I mean, basically, our approach is that we're long-term growth investors. So what we're really looking for in the businesses that we invest our clients' money in is businesses that can grow their sales over the long term and also can grow their profits over the long term. So those are the main things that we're looking for. And then, when I think, for example, about Wacom, I think it's very interesting that the fundamental tool that you provide is one that's been used for so long.
For human beings.
For human beings, to draw with some kind of pencil or some kind of pen has been happening, since literally the Paleolithic era.
Definitely.
And similar to things like shoes, which have been around for a very long time, that fundamental aspect doesn't change. And that's very exciting. So the fundamental need for pens remains, but also the way people use pens changes over time. And the ability to use pens for electronic input, either for writing or for education or for artistry, those things Wacom is addressing. So it's addressing a fundamental human need, but in the modern world.
Definitely. Okay. As the Baillie Gifford, philosophy-wise, long terms and fundamentals would be the keywords. And in that sense, Wacom's instrument, pen and ink, is also fundamental.
Yes.
And not only for business, but for human beings. So that part is echoing. Oh, that'd be great. That'd be great. Yeah. And I think, Matthew-san, you are taking care of our Japanese market, right, for a long time. I think more than a decade, right? And do you see some critical change, last few years and 5 years? And do you see the Wacom how Wacom is positioned in that change? You just mentioned fundamental, yes, very consistent, but from our changing trend perspectives, how do you see the Japan market and Wacom positions?
So I think I've been investing in Japan now since 2005.
2005,
so it feels a long time now. But I think the things that have changed, some of the aspects of governance in Japan have definitely changed over that time period, and I think a lot of people talk about that. I think probably what people don't talk about as much, but I think is just as important, is the interesting growth companies in Japan. I think a lot of the narrative, especially overseas, has been in recent years about the value opportunity in Japan, about cheap businesses. But actually for us, there's a huge opportunity, particularly in the medium-sized companies, for growth. Japan has many innovative businesses. Wacom would be an obvious one, a world leader in what it does that is listed in Japan. But there are many others across areas such as the internet or automation, where Japan remains a world leader, and we think those businesses are really exciting.
Interesting. Interesting. So especially for some more sectors or category-wise, do you have any specific, categories of business or industry you're trying to focus for futures?
So in general, we invest across all types of industries, but obviously what we're looking for in growing businesses tends to draw us towards some newer types of industries. So we have quite a lot, for example, in internet type of businesses. or when we invest in the financial sector, often those have been internet type of businesses, but operating in the financial sector. We also are quite excited by robotics as a theme. And that's something that's been so big recently, but for us robotics is still very early in its development. And the better machine vision, better AI might make robots much more useful in the real world and get them out of the car factories and into the real world.
Interesting. So you just mentioned also AI things. So in terms of AI, do you have some specific expectations to Japan market or Japanese, small mid-sized company? Because generally speaking, AI is kind of led by the US-oriented company. But how do you see the, AI in Japan market, or especially for small, medium company?
So I mean, we do have an investment in SoftBank, which is probably the most obvious Japanese AI company. But I think in general with AI, to broaden out the conversation with AI, I think we think of AI as being a huge change, probably bigger than the internet or the mobile internet because it's happening so fast. And I think we see lots of opportunities for Japanese companies, particularly because many Japanese companies, their IT systems are not necessarily so advanced relative to their technological skills. And actually AI allows for big efficiency gains to be had by those companies. And I think with the ongoing, labour shortages in Japan, in some countries people are very worried about AI taking people's jobs. But in Japan, maybe there's more of a balance where, as the workforce is getting older, maybe AI can take some of the strain and everything can still work in harmony.
Interesting. But in that sense, Matthew-san, Wacom's approach to AI is a bit unique. I hope you like that. There, of course, a creative area or education area, healthcare, well-being area. There's huge opportunities AI can be leveraged. But from our perspective, instead of pursuing some generative AI or pursuing some ultimate productivity or efficiency, we are leveraging AI technologies to, how I should say, how we can capture inner state of human beings, by pen and ink. How we can, have a deep dive into the human's very profound, inner status things. So that is how we are going to make approach, how we are using AI. I just show you, before they're capturing all the pen and ink behavior of human beings, and maybe we can contribute to specify which dementia stage, their people are, or like our education part, just catching very subtle, like our pen pressures or pen speed difference, we can detect the students, the level of understanding of the part of wondering, and we can contribute to compose some very optimized, education experience for students. So that is how we are using the AI. And do you see that's kind of a opportunity or some differentiated,
Yes, I think at this stage with AI, there's so many opportunities around, and I think it's easy for people to look at generative AI and be worried about the future of artists. But of course, there's something special about what a human draws that's always of a different qualitative nature. And I think also, as you say, the pen is very interesting as an input device because it connects directly to the human. And so humans have these, special receptors to feel through a pen. And I think, therefore, you can go both ways, can't you? You can feel with the pen, but also if you record the other side, you can feel the human. And, we know that Alzheimer's disease and other dementia is such a big challenge, and there's various breakthroughs happening. You know, some Japanese companies, you know, making some quite big breakthroughs in terms of treatment.
Yeah.
But diagnosing early is probably going to be very important.
Yeah.
So I think all of these ways of thinking about innovation are valuable. And of course, it will turn out in 10 years that
long
some
terms.
of these things will not work, but some of them will work, and that's where the growth opportunities come from.
That's very interesting perspectives. Yeah, it's really true for us. You know, as you just mentioned, Matthew-san, so pen is bidirectional, you know, their communication, not only just our, you know, output of what you're thinking or what you have in your mind, but while you're drawing, writing, you're receiving the huge feedbacks, and all the receptors of your hands are communicating with your brains, and, you know, it would kind of a never-ending cycle, input, output, input, output. So that's why we can catch the inner state of the human beings. In terms of that, you know, we're also thinking not only just visualizing the which stage of the dementia you are in there, but also we're trying to come up some solution to slow down or some relax of the aging speed or dementia speed, because just visualizing your some disease state is just horrible, right? It's horror. It's so painful to see this, and you have to digest. So our solutions, we're trying to target not only just visualizing your state of the disease or dementia, whatever, but how the pen and ink, how the drawing and writing can soften the disease, how we can slow down the aging, you know, the pace. So that is how we are thinking. So now we are developing some solutions, like our art class, and a method of teaching the art is relaxing and stimulating the other part of your brain, which would definitely contribute for the slow down for the progress of dementia. So something like that. So visualizations and slowing down the pace of the disease. So that's both ways we're trying to approach. Yeah,
it's very ambitious, and I think you know, in terms of looking at something like dementia, you know, probably in the end, there's going to be multiple approaches used to try to slow down the disease, and I think you know, there have been some very exciting things coming out of the pharmaceutical sector recently that maybe are removing some of the plaques in the brain that cause Alzheimer's. And my personal view is that maybe in 10 years or more, you know, maybe Alzheimer's will become a bit like HIV and AIDS in the sense that with good treatment, it may be that you can keep deferring the onset of the full disease, and if you can keep deferring the onset, then in the end, you know, it's less of a problem. So I think you know, all of these things are very exciting, and you know, whether it's music or whether it's art, all of these
creative
things generally exercise the brain and are good.
That's you know, how we like to target. When we are collaborating with some top of the top, you know, their dementia clinics in Japan, and the doctor said, whatever, the most important thing is just keep yourself exciting with something. So their creations or some you know, even drawing, writing, whatever, but you know, starting the new things, keep yourselves exciting. That's the really most important key, and the brain would start, you know, to connect with a new path instead of you know, like kind of escaping from their, you know, their dementia, their amyloid beta portions, but creating some new path, you know, with the different portions, which you know, the people still can enjoy the life.
I think that's absolutely right, and I know I don't know whether the phrase is the same in Japanese, but in English there's a phrase. You can't teach old dogs new tricks. But actually for humans, of course you can. Even a very elderly human can always be learning new things. And that's very different to animals who generally they have a short period of learning and then pretty much that's it. But for us, I think you're right. We need to keep learning. We need to keep changing, and the world is changing.
Yes, totally different. And so our missions, I think, Wacom's one of the missions to contribute to this kind of human beings, humankind's social issues, how we can contribute to that, solve, the issues and using a pen and ink. Yeah, good. Yeah, and Matthew-san, so sounds like your philosophy and Wacom's directions is echoing, and I hope we have delivered a good result. But here, I just like to be there enough to ask you, what is the gap, do you think, for Wacom? What's the kind of improvement points of Wacom do you think? The directions, strategies, that each fiscal year's number we keep updating. But from your long-term perspectives, do you have any kind of a gap or improvement points which you like to highlight?
Well,
I'm okay to accept anything.
Of course. And we've talked about this in the past. At one level, Wacom is a very simple business in the sense that you are providing ability to have pen inputs electronically. And at that level, it's very simple. But once we start to peel away some of the layers of the onion, you're engaged in providing your solutions to other companies, and you're also engaged sometimes in making your own products, and you touch on very different markets, from artists to
healthcare,
education to healthcare. And I think, therefore, there's quite a lot of complexity there. And I think that's the challenge for a business like Wacom, is trying to have a clear enough focus on where the growth opportunity is, and to seize those growth opportunities without getting too complexified amongst it. But obviously that's why you're the president of the company, Nobu-san. So
thank you.
It's for you to deal with these complexities. So thank you in advance.
Thank you, Matthew-san. It's a very important point, and we already catching your message last time, and also we explained at the time. Actually, it looks like we are trying to do some cherry pick the different things and are generating some complexity things, but from our perspectives, it's still very simple. So because the value chain wise, starting point is write and draw and inking. This is very common technologies. Sensor and firmware, software, and best of the pen design. This is never ending. We keep brushing up. So this is a core. And on top of that, we have some digital ink layer. So that is our software layer, service layer, and leveraging the whole ink data. But this is also, from Wacom perspectives, it's just a simple one layer. So it's called UIM, Universal Ink Model. So this is a digital ink format. So whether this is coordinate, pressure, the writer's drawers, attributes, who you are, everything can be stored in this simple UIM format, Universal Ink Model format. So the healthcare, well-being, education, creative, IP protection, which I just show you, everything is based on this kind of a simple digital ink layer, kind of a composed by UIM. So that wise, it's still simple. And how we are going to develop the business, this portion depends on how we are going to engage with which communities, which partners. So that part, we are going to be careful and also very ambitious, because the core technologies and other layers are common, simple. So now it's up to us how we are going to implement for different categories. Taking example, just also from hardware-wise, last October 31st public announcement, we made our explanations. Core technologies, the best of the best inking experience. Right hand, we are going to implement as a creative use case, the moving pad. Very affordable, non-PC connections, and it's getting huge good feedback. Right hand. Left hand, we're just going to expand as a B2B editions. It's totally different use case for signatures or banking or some document management systems. You can use it. So, but still, same technology, same hardware, same firmware, but we can leverage this common core technology to the different use case, which when you see just only use case, it looks like a scatter and use case, but actually everything is coming back to this origin, the same common starting point. So that is how we're trying to, expand the business and how we're trying not to kind of to be too much complex situations.
Well, that's very good to hear.
Yeah. I hope I can come up some more and more examples to make you convinced. Okay, it's not so complex, better. Things. But I appreciate your highlight. Yeah, we're going to really take care of that. Yeah, good. Yeah, and maybe some few more dialogue things. And apart from our own business, when we see the capital market, there of course the governance and also our things are evolving, keeps evolving, and it also echoing with your philosophy, kind of a dialogue or powerful questions are getting so important. So I appreciate if you can share with us how do you think for true dialogue in capital market. So we have been communicating for over a decade, and all the conversation, all the dialogue, gave us some power and enlightenment, and also motivations to brush up our business. So it's really power of dialogue, power of your questions. We are appreciating, but from your perspectives, do you have some image what the true dialogue in capital market should be?
I think basically, when investors and companies are having dialogue, ideally I think one of the absolutely key things is honesty, that there's a common understanding between the two. When times are good, that the management can say, well, times are good. But when they're bad, they can honestly say, well, actually they're bad.
Instead of hiding something.
Exactly. And I think on top of that honesty, I think what we always particularly value in talking to companies is understanding what their long-term aims, what their long-term strategies are. Because nowadays, with the financial results as they're released and so on, the detail of things is easier to understand than perhaps it used to be. But what is hard to understand still is what the spirit of a company is, what its main aims are, and what its main long-term strategies are. And it's that kind of dialogue that I think we benefit the most from.
Again, I really recognize, the power of the dialogue. Yet, in that sense, for the decade, from my perspective, I'm trying to convey our philosophy, our spirit, our soul, lifelong ink, because it's about our humans. It's about a human being's instrument, and it's the story about how Wacom technology, pen and ink can contribute to the human beings for their lifelong, not quarter-based, sometimes not fiscal year-based, but a lifelong time period we're trying to commit.
And I think that's one thing that always comes across from Wacom, from yourself, from the other people that I've spoken to over the years, is the passion for what you do as a business. And I think, some companies, they're very focused on this product or that product, and they're less focused on what is the underlying reason for all these products. And I think you've always had a clarity of what it is that you're trying to do that I think is very refreshing.
Oh, that is really motivating us. And of course, our commitment, we are going to hit the target and we are going to deliver the good business result. But on the bottom line, why we are existing as a company in this society, what the missions, what the role, we should play in this human being society is really motivating us, and we are confident, that our technology and our technology innovations can contribute to the human beings, for long terms. And I'm always refer the pen history is 50,000 years ago, there some first human beings drew something on the wall. But our missions is, of course, we are going to deliver the short-term result, and Chapter 4 is a 4-year time frame, midterm plan. Definitely we are going to achieve. But our bottom line motivation, our bottom line mission is 50,000 years from now, how Wacom can, take over or carry over this pen and ink, such a precious historical and indispensable element for human beings to the next 50,000 years. So that is our thinking, how we are thinking, and so your comment is really motivating us.
I have to clarify at this point that although Baillie Gifford are long-term investors, I think even we struggle with a 50,000 year view.
Well, it's a future.
It's good to hear.
Yes, yes. Yeah, but it's true. But let's say 100 years or 50 years even. So I think Baillie Gifford has a strong kind of a commitment or strong view what the role of the investors, what the role of the Baillie Gifford for next 50 years, 100 years. And we have, again, human beings, lifelong beings. Can you share?
Well, I think if we are doing our job well, then we are finding interesting companies that have good long-term growth prospects. And then by putting our clients' money into those companies, that can hopefully help those companies to feel the support to go for the growth opportunities and not to feel too pressured to do things for the short-term return or too pressured, from kind of activist type of investors, but to actually try and go for the big long-term opportunity. And I think at times, if we're honest, financial investors can be their own worst enemy, because I think they would all agree they want the companies to do well over the long run. But of course, you have to accept that there are ups and downs, and you have to accept that sometimes things fluctuate, etc. And I think for us, that if we're doing our job well, then our clients benefit from the holdings that we've held for a long time, because those holdings continue to deliver over the long run by reinvesting in their businesses and by achieving good growth.
Yeah, it's really long-term, period-based, thinking and philosophy. Yeah, huge respect I have. Yeah. So, Matthew-san, do you have any questions or some pitch on me on Wacom? This is not IR. This is dialogue.
Of course.
You can make any bunch of questions during IR, but for this dialogue perspective,
of course. I suppose one question that I have is Wacom collaborates with a lot of companies globally. And I find that very interesting. Many Japanese companies prefer to collaborate within the Japanese ecosystem. Just be interested in your reflections as to how Wacom has become so good at collaborating globally.
Interesting perspectives. This is, I can reflect, the first point is, we always seeing not just our single company or single partners, but we are seeing communities. Which kind of a communities, that our partners or customers or collaborators are belonging to, and which community we should engage to compose the brand new innovations or experience, which just single Wacom cannot do that. So we always seeing that, they're not just independent companies, but which communities we should engage. Creative communities, education communities, like gaming communities or well-being healthcare communities. Then, very naturally, we ended up to engage with a global-based company, not only Japanese company. So I think it's coming from the concept of the communities. And also, like our second reason is, as I keep saying, Wacom technologies, Wacom value proposition is not for the like our specific things, but for human beings. Human beings on the earth. So I'm thinking, okay, more than 7 billion people living on the earth. How much people we have, to deliver our solutions. So naturally, it's not nations, it's not country, it's not even like culture things. We are seeing by aspect of human beings. So in the end, we came to know the collaborations or partnerships we are building up as a human being oriented, so global and so kind of a diversified, and not just sitting in the same cultures. So that's how I'm reflecting. So it's strictly and tightly connecting with our philosophy, Lifelong Inc., and we are working for the human beings.
Another question that people would probably have is, given all the developments in AI in the recent years, a lot of people, I think, worry about that for the artists as AI is producing this generative type of art. How do you think about that?
Yes, definitely it's always the big discussion, hot discussion, and sensitive topic even. But from Wacom perspectives, we are not the positions of deny or reject or say no to the generative AI. In the end, generative AI or some, that kind of things would be the one of the tool for the creators, artists even. So it should be up to creators, artists, how they're going to pick up, how they're going to leverage, how they're going to use it. It's kind of, my image is always like a creators, artist, pen boxes. And in the pen case, Wacom pen is there, and maybe Apple Pencil is also there, and generative AI as a tool is also sitting in the toolbox. And it's creators, artists, to make decisions to pick it up or to use or not to use. So that is the first position. At the same time, how Wacom is going to leverage AI power is totally different from the generative AI. We are not going toward generative AI directions, but we are really trying to move toward go inside of a human beings. How precious and how kind of the valuable of the human beings creative is our base concept. So that's why, as our solutions, new technology which we are using AI is always the helping tool to find out your inner state of human beings, or to support the very, very profound creative journey which is happening inside of human beings using AI, visualizing and helping, something like that, not generative AI. So we are so proud of taking these opportunities, but we also, the technology company, and coming up some cutting edge, this kind of solutions for artists, creators, students, teachers, healthcare people, not for generative AI directions, but for the respecting and embracing and amplifying the human being's power, creative power, learning power, living power. Yeah. So that is how we are thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you for the great questions.
Conversation.
Great. So, Matthew-san, I can keep talking with you forever, but maybe last questions or last asking is, in capital market, we are a company, registered listed company, and so many stakeholders, and we really need to care all the stakeholders, as a company, but to keep delivering the value to the human being, society, solving the society issues, the most important stakeholder is Wacom's team members. Without, the employees, we calling team members in Wacom internally. So we should not prioritize the stakeholders, but starting point of value propositions, starting point of generating the value for the societies and human beings, team members. Yeah. Wacom team members, so important and precious. I appreciate if you can share your message and or some your short story to our team members. I know this is a dialogue for the IR, which we are going to upload IR channel. Yeah. So it's a target audience is our investors. But on purpose, I just if you can share some message to Wacom team members, I really appreciate.
I think my message to the Wacom team members would be, I think a lot of the time, there's presented as a conflict between customers and between shareholders and between staff members of a company. But our view is that when things are working well, there doesn't need to be a conflict. And I think one of the things that I'm always acutely aware of as an investor is what I can do is actually very limited. I can buy shares in a company for our clients and I can sell them again. Those are the two actions I can do. It takes all of those people, all of those team members within the company to create and build the value, to build that value for the customers, also for the shareholders. And I think in that sense, we are all in this together. And I just really appreciate the efforts that every one of those will be making every day to make Wacom a successful business.
That's very, very cheerful message. It's truly meaning we are on the same ship.
Yes. Yeah. I think that's right.
Yeah. Thank you, Matthew-san. So my commitment is we definitely, keep going and keep making innovations and keep working for the society and keep delivering the never-ending value for human beings. Matthew-san, thank you so much.
Well, thank you
so much for this time. And this is we are so honored, and this is an unbelievable moment. And I just like to share this outcome with the team members, shareholders, as soon as possible. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Really appreciate.
Thank you.
Really appreciate.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very
much. I'm going to cry. I'm going to cry. Seriously. Yeah. This is our moment.
Well, we've done our bit for ESG as well, because we've done it here while I'm actually here instead of coming to Edinburgh.
Yeah, so but this is a moment. And with this dialogue, we can keep working.